Cynthia is going to present her company, PharmD Live. Is that PharmMD or PharmD?
PharmD Live. It's
PharmD.
PharmD Live, yes.
Right. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have Cynthia here. Let me introduce her, look at her bio here. Dr. Cynthia Nwaubani is a geriatric pharmacist and the CEO and founder of PharmD Live. She is passionate about innovative approaches to prevent adverse medication reactions, I guess. With her multidisciplinary background, Dr. Nwaubani has extensive experience in identifying growth opportunities and delivering innovative solutions to meet business needs. So welcome, Cynthia. Dr. Nwaubani.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Yuli, for that intro. And also thank you to the rest of the InnovatorMD team for this wonderful opportunity to present PharmD Live to this community. And I'm Cynthia Nwaubani, CEO and founder of PharmD Live. As Yuli said, I'm a geriatric pharmacist, very passionate about innovative approaches to making medication safer for our senior patients. My expertise lies in clinical informatics and the deployment of technology-enabled solutions, and I've helped several managed care organizations improve their patients' medication use outcomes, improve CMS quality measures, and decrease the cost of care. And so over the years, practicing as a pharmacist in different clinical settings, I had firsthand experience seeing countless number of avoidable medication problems in elderly patients, with several underlying chronic conditions, who are on several, medications from different prescribers, who may or may not be communicating. And so the tipping point for me was about 7 years ago when a senior patient bled to death due to an unintentional blood thinner overdose. That fatal incident was 100% avoidable had there been a comprehensive disease management system in place for that patient following discharge. And so I founded PharmD Live to prevent fatal drug events in our geriatric population. And I will go ahead and share my screen. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wonderful. And so PharmD Live, we're a unique virtual clinical pharmacist solution. And we support chronic disease management and prevent adverse drug events in geriatric patients. All right, so did you know that 750 seniors are hospitalized every single day in the US due to an adverse drug event? Also, there are 50 million cases of adverse drug events occurring every year, making adverse drug events the 4th leading cause of death in the US, and that's according to the FDA. Also, in recent times, I believe over the past five years, Medicare now sets aside $40 billion with a B every year for chronic care management. This is a program that addresses disease, care gaps, and also medication-related problems in patients to be delivered through the doctor's office. But less than 10% of that amount was actually reimbursed last year. Chronic care management program, remote patient monitoring services. These are additional programs, additional services on top of the physician's workload. And so it's difficult for most clinics to offer this service to their senior patients due to issues like time constraints, limited staffing, limited funds, inefficient technology. And so as a result, too few patients who qualify for this service are currently enrolled and taking part of this program. And so we at PharmD Live, we provide AI-driven virtual solutions to primary care physicians who find chronic care management and RPM difficult, time-consuming, and expensive to implement on their own. And so I'll just walk you through at a very high level how our solution works. Our solution encompasses virtual pharmacists who leverage our technology for personalized patient care. Our AI technology aggregates over 200 patient data points to identify medication risks and disease care gaps, assigns risk scores, stratifies and then ranks those adverse events and potential side effects, and then suggests safer and personalized medication regimen pathways for patients. Our end-to-end turnkey solution is delivered by our virtual clinical pharmacists, and our pharmacists are available 24/7 around the clock for any patient's medication-related questions and issues. All right, so I will just shift gears a little bit to talk about the market size. And like for most of us here, we're in the healthcare industry. This is the market size for our solution is quite large. The total addressable market is about $64 billion. The serviceable addressable market is $40 billion. This market is fully funded, but largely underserved. And so we're at PharmD, we're projecting a target market share of about $500 million when we enroll about 600 patients in our solutions by year 5. So with regards to our business model, we're a B2B organization, and we partner with physicians, clinics, hospitals, payers to deliver our solutions. The average revenue for our service is about $1,300 per patient per year, and that's all billed via the CPT codes. So as an early stage startup company, we've had some traction. Our traction to date includes 5 customers with about 79 clinics and more than 50,000 Medicare patients to enroll in our CCM and RPM programs. These contracts will lead to a net positive revenue in Q3 of next year, and we're projecting an ARR of about $8 million when fully implemented across all the contracted clinics. Also, some of the traction that we've had, we've raised $1.1 million in seed round, and that was completed late last year in December. Also, PharmD has been selected by Illinois Critical Access Hospital Network, and we've also been recognized by Johnson & Johnson as one of the top 12 telehealth startups shaping the future of healthcare. And so we've gone live with our health system partner. We've gone live since July 1, and our pharmacists have hit the ground running with patient engagements, making meaningful and measurable interventions, also including closing quality measures gaps for all of our clients. And so this is a patient case, one of our patients, a high-risk patient from one of our clinics who was engaged by one of our pharmacists. And upon receiving the call from our team, from our pharmacist, the patient said, I'm glad you called. I'm having trouble with my eyes. I think it's one of my medications causing it. The patient was correct. It wasn't just one med. It was several of her medications causing the issue that she was that was contributing to her persistent dry eyes. Our pharmacist collaborated with her physician to deprescribe the offending meds and then switched her medications to other therapeutic equivalents. And the side effect from what has been reported to us has begun resolving. And so it's pretty obvious the value that we bring to the clinics that we partner with. Our solutions empower physicians to deliver, high quality of care to their patients through actionable clinical intelligence and also helping them generate additional revenue for the practices that we've partnered with. And also we help the patients save costs, we help them stay healthier and also stay out of the hospitals. And I'll just switch gears a little bit to talk about the competitive, landscape. And so within the disease management realm, there are major competitors within the space, but all of the disease management, companies lack that medication risk management focus, also lack that medication risk management technology, and also that clinical pharmacist expertise that we bring to the table. PharmD Live, we have a nationwide network of pharmacists who are available 24/7 around the clock for our patients, and also for the physicians that we've partnered with to provide personalized medication management versus, what we have today, the one-size-fits-all approach that we do have today. And so this slide just goes over our leadership team. I am a geriatric pharmacist. I come with a lot of startup experience with over 15 years of healthcare experience, leveraging technology-enabled solutions to create and launch outcomes-based pop health models to drive business profitability. Our leadership team at PharmD Live is comprised of innovators, clinicians, health IT experts, scholars, and business professionals who are all driven by our shared commitment to transform the delivery of healthcare. Most have a proven track record of scaling multiple startups, and some of us have successful exits. And so at this point, we are currently raising a bridge round. We're seeking $1.5 million to support the rollout of our programs across these 79 clinics. So we would need to hire additional pharmacists, additional patient enrollment specialists, client-facing physicians, and also support staff. And then also part of the funds we raise will be used for continuous business development. And so the funding instruments that we're going to be using is a convertible note for this round. We have about $200,000 either committed or pledged already. And the minimum check size is $25,000. And the terms for this investment round are all on this slide here. All right, so our exit strategy is we're projecting an acquisition by one of the major industry players, such as Teladoc, Amazon, or McKesson, because no one in the industry has exactly what we do bring to the table, and we believe that we will be a very good competitive differentiator for these larger organizations within the healthcare space. And we are looking to exit, we project exiting when our patient count surpasses 200,000. All right, so this is just the beginning for us. We envision leading the disease and medication management space, where we will have a virtual, pharmacist supporting the doctor's office to keep the patients healthier. This market is huge. The payment model is predictable and very reliable. And I hope that you can join us to transform the delivery of healthcare so that we can have a virtual pharmacist supporting every doctor's office. Thank you very much, and I'll be glad to take your questions.
Thanks, Cynthia. That's a great presentation. Really like your model. What does D stand for in PharmD?
Oh, okay, that's a very good question. Well, PharmD is a terminal degree for all pharmacists, is Doctor of Pharmacy. So all pharmacists graduate with a PharmD degree, Doctor of Pharmacy.
It's a degree, okay.
Yes, and so the Live is just having access to a pharmacist, on 24/7 around the clock. Hence the name PharmD Live. Yeah.
What do you provide any like medication management? I would say prescription management, like, do you switch prescriptions and things like that, based on a program that?
Well, yeah. So part of what we do is for both our remote patient monitoring, RPM, and also the CCM, the disease management portion, both have refused and integrated medication management into both. And so that's at the core of what we do. And then we also have the capability to customize solutions for organizations who want a certain level of the medication therapy management.
Yeah, like for example, switching patients from expensive drugs that have more side effects to, more generics where the patient.
Correct.
actually take the medicine.
Yes, yes. So part of our program is, the therapeutic equivalence, switching patients from one, therapy to the others. That's what our pharmacists, do, as part of our CCM and part of our RPM program. Yes, making sure that the patient's medication is fully optimized. And that's what differentiates us from every other chronic care management program or RPM in the market today.
Great program. Any questions from the audience?
Uli, I have a question for Cynthia. Cynthia, great work, and this is so critical work that you're doing. I had a question about around the risk and insurance that you will have to provide in terms of sharing the risk, because if you're providing guidance in around how to not take or take medication that involves risk on the patient perspective, how are you managing that risk profile from the business perspective?
Well, we have the liability insurance, which we've subscribed to, and so that's, we have that in place in terms of, does that answer your question? Was that what you were asking, or?
Vipula, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Say that again, because my connection dropped when you said Cynthia.
Oh, yes. I said we have a liability insurance in place, which covers all of our clinicians, all of our pharmacists. Does that answer your question, or because that was what I understood from what you asked? Yeah,
no, apart from that, when let's say a J&J type of company wants to, if it's their drug, and then you have identified a potential problem in those particular patients, how are you managing that profile with the companies and business-wise?
Well, what we do, we have the relationship with the physicians, right? And so if we identify any medication-related problems, we collaborate with the physicians that we have a contractual relationship with to address the problems in the patients. And then we also would file a safety report when we come across those.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, no, great, thanks.
Great.
Yeah. Yuli, one question.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Cynthia, Tom Least, really like the gig. It's nice. And if I understand the business model correctly, you're effectively just enabling physician practices to earn Medicare payments that they're either physically or technologically unable to grasp.
That is correct, and we do that directly and indirectly. Directly through the CPT codes that the physician practices are able to get reimbursed for the services that we deliver on their behalf, and then also indirectly because we customize our solutions to boost their quality measures. So be it the MIPS measures, the MSSP ACO measures, and once those quality measures are boosted, they also receive additional reimbursements from Medicare as well. So.
Right, which brings to my follow-up question. So you're going to have to interface with physician offices. So my two questions are: one, what sort of challenges have you overcome in interacting with each physician office's electronic health record? And two, how do you get paid? Subscription, percent of revenue, percent of savings, shared savings, contract?
So let me answer the first question. So we've come across several clinics with different EHRs. We've built our technology to be an EHR agnostic platform, so we're able to integrate with most of the EHRs that are out there in the market. And when the integration pathway isn't feasible, we're also able to go the flat file approach, where we're able to ingest that data. But our preferred method will be to establish that bi-directional data flow between our platform and the physician's EHR. So that's the first part of your question. The second part is how we get paid. That varies from clinic to clinic. Typically, we have a flat fee for all of our pharmacist engagements, and that is a fraction of the reimbursements for the physicians.
Great. May I go next?
Yes, go ahead.
It's so interesting, Cynthia. Like half of your presentation is what I had created to show, because we are looking exactly to adverse reaction to drug, but we started from genetic point of view and pharmacogenomics. So in addition to actually general information about the drug also provide genetic insight to make a
Yes.
better decision. So I would love to have a chat with you about how we can collaborate.
Sure,
However,
sure.
my question for you is, we are basically dealing with the same questions that probably you have done part of it. Which CPT code will be the best one to, match to? I was curious to know if you had to come up with new way of articulating this to payers, or you already found some CPT code that was already eligible in their view. So that was my first question. And the second is, how much of the patient information on other diagnostic you include, for instance, existing conditions like diabetes or anything else? I wanted to know if your model also includes all of those information into your risk assessment. Those are the two questions I have.
Yes. So we include over 200 patient data points into our risk assessment. We have a proprietary algorithm that we use in doing our risk evaluations and risk categorizations for our patients, right? And the first part of your question is has to do with the CPT codes. And so the services that we provide is largely around disease management and medication management, and there are specific set-aside CPT codes for those. We haven't negotiated any new CPT codes for our services at this time. We just decided to go for what's already available and then wrapped around our services around those, what's available.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I
Thank
think